Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from otherworldly beings to captures of cryptids that are sure to have your jaw drop. Ready? Well, let's jump right in. What do you do when your Ring doorbell camera picks up something? You check it, right? But what do you do when you see nothing, even after thoroughly searching the entrance to your property? Some might have just ignored it. Some is me, but not the individual whose Ring camera recorded this clip. After not seeing anything outside, he just couldn't shake off the creepy and unsettling feeling that he was suddenly having. He felt there might have been something out there that he's missed, so he reviewed the footage from the camera, and what he saw is what you're seeing on your screen. There was actually a dark, small being moving around on his property. I say small because, according to him, those fences are only 3 feet high, yet whatever the dark thing was, it was still shorter than that. Speaking of the dark being, it appears to be moving on 2 feet, and that's just about all we can see. The homeowner, whose name is Rudy, states that once the dark being gets to the middle of his property, the cameras just stop working, something that's never happened before. Naturally, this scared him, prompting him to upload it to online forums for answers. Unfortunately for him, however, no one knows what the thing is. Some have said it might be a duende, whereas others have said it might be nothing more than a baby bear. While the baby bear bit sounds logical, it doesn't explain his camera shutting down. This has led to some stating it might be an interdimensional being. This one has been a controversial take, but you've seen the clip, so what do you also think? While you make your mind up about that, let's visit Peru, where a lady named Olivia captured this clip on January the 13th, 2025.
Un ovni en vivo, familia, estoy traumada. ¿Qué es eso?
It's a slowed-down clip of what looks like a spaceship with 2 or 3 individuals in it. At least, that's what I see when I look at it. According to her, this was captured in their village on the said date, and it shook everyone who saw it. When I saw this clip, I was excited because, well, hey, we're getting more alien clips from around the world. When Julius saw it, however, he shook his head and stated it was AI. When he said that, I took a second look and wondered if this was really a fast-moving object slowed down. What camera did Olivia use in capturing it, and how good is her reaction time to have captured an alien ship moving at hyperspeeds? Maybe I'm letting Julius get to me too much, but what do you guys also think?
Un ovni en vivo, familia, estoy traumada. ¿Qué es eso?
Is this also AI or real? 10 years ago, it would have been easy to answer, but now we have to do a little more scrutiny to make sure something is real. Well, I did the research, and it turns out that someone did actually discover this. An article from the Mirror shows that this mysterious sea creature, dubbed an alien from the depths of hell, was discovered by Suzanne Archino on Port Believer Beach near Galveston, Texas. This bizarre 3-foot-long creature lacked eyes, had sharp teeth, and featured a pink stalk-like body with remnants of a fin near its mouth. Suzanne posted pictures on Facebook sparking comparisons to moving creatures like the xenomorph from Alien and graboids from Tremors. Experts identify it as a snapper eel, likely washed ashore due to recent freezing weather. The beach that day was also littered with other marine animals, including pelicans, stingrays, and jellyfish. I mean, if the Mirror is saying this, we have to take it, right? Unless, of course, it's a cover story for something more sinister, but I'm not the conspiracy theorist. Maybe Aaron will look into it later. Still on conspiracies, how many of us have heard of the Alaskan Triangle, dubbed the big brother of the infamous Bermuda Triangle? The Alaskan Triangle stands as one of the most mysterious and ominous regions on Earth. Stretching between Anchorage, Juneau, and Barrow, this vast wilderness is not just a geographical marvel, but also a hotspot for unexplained disappearances, peculiar phenomena, and chilling folklore. Since the 1970s, over 20,000 people have vanished within its bounds, a staggering number that translates to nearly 400 individuals per year. One of the most infamous incidents tied to the Alaskan Triangle involves a plane carrying 44 passengers that mysteriously crashed and was never fully recovered. Adding to the intrigue are reports of encounters with a Bigfoot-type creature rumored to roam the dense forests and icy terrains. This cryptid, often described as an enormous ape-like figure, has fueled speculation that the triangle might be a haven for an unknown species. I mean, the place has sinister tales of wendigos, which are mythical creatures rooted in Native American folklore. For those unfamiliar with them, they're said to embody insatiable hunger and malevolence and are believed to prey on lost travelers. What makes the Alaskan Triangle even more perplexing is its potential connection to magnetic disturbances. The area reportedly experiences anomalies that may affect compasses and navigation systems, leaving travelers disoriented. Some paranormal enthusiasts and researchers believe that these magnetic fields could create a vortex, pulling people into alternate dimensions. This might also explain the frequent hallucinations reported by those who venture too far into the wilderness. Adding to the enigma is how much of the triangle remains unexplored. Vast swathes of its terrain are inaccessible, harboring secrets that may never be recovered. With an average of 4,000 and 7,000 people going missing without a trace, the odds seem unsettlingly high for anyone who dares to venture there. Skeptics argue that these disappearances are merely coincidental, citing the harsh environment, unpredictable weather, and treacherous landscape as explanations. Others, however, are convinced that the region holds a unique power, one capable of bending the rules of reality. What do you guys think? Sounds too tall a tale to be true, or does it sound like an adventure waiting to happen? Let's hear your thoughts on this one. Still on strange creatures and occurrences, what do you think of this one? This is real, allegedly. It was recorded by a group of friends who were out on an adventure one evening. They came across this guy, and from afar they thought it might be wildlife like deer or something like that. As they got closer, however, they noticed it looked more canine than it did the herbivore they were expecting. They were fascinated by it and started to record. I mean, take a look at its unique head and the markings on it. Then there's its set of legs, which sometimes looked like they're more than 4. The friends were initially fascinated, but the more they looked, the more they found the creature curious. Eventually, they decided it was best they left the place. One of them mentioned how the particular area they were currently in was famous for one thing: werewolves. Although no one had been able to prove their existence, every one of them was certain that's definitely what this creature was. You can see it too. So what do you think this is? You know the feeling that someone's watching you. You know how uncomfortable that can be. Well, a man was out exploring the great outdoors when he had that feeling. He started to look around to find the source of this unsettling feeling, and his eyes chanced upon this tree. Do you see it? There's a face in that tree. The man claims he's never seen it before, nor seen anything like it. I don't know him, but I believe him. He uploaded this online, hoping people could help him decode and understand what he was really dealing with. Many told him it was probably just a carved face in a tree, while others mentioned that he was most definitely dealing with something paranormal, say a man sacrificed in the tree or something along those lines. I struggle to understand how a man could be put in a tree, but then again, there's so much of our world I have yet to see or understand. But what do you guys think of this one? While you wrap your head around that, let's take a short cruise to the Santa Cruz boardwalk where an apparition or ghost has made an appearance. The clip you're watching was recorded by a young lady known as Jaylene Rich and her friends. This was recorded after an amusement park had closed and no one was expecting to be present. But pay attention to the clip. As the ride descends, there's someone, a hooded someone, in the ride. That someone or something doesn't stay for long though. It disappears or vanishes as the ride descends. Jaylene noticed the being, which is why she started filming. However, recording a highly zoomed-in video at night typically affects the quality of the clip, as we can all see. Despite the quality, many in the paranormal community believe this is the real deal. Some stated that they could see the figure and felt it might be death. Others also stated it could be for the souls of people who have died either having fun or working in the area. This may sound like a hard pill to swallow if you're new here, but we've actually seen and heard worse. In fact, some who have worked at the Santa Cruz boardwalk at some point in their lives also mentioned this strange thing used to happen there at night. There are many opinions coming from all sorts of people, and you've seen the clip, so what do you think? When I first saw this, the best word to describe what I felt was shocked. I wonder what happened to this creature. I knew it wasn't possible, but a part of me was asking if a mad scientist had put two dogs together. If that's the case, it wasn't a very good job, was it? But then Aaron pointed out that it was an illusion. I expected him to talk of demon possession, but he just turned my device to the side, and that made things clear. It was just a dog lying down. Crazy, huh? Perspective changes so much, and without the right perspective, you could see something and interpret it to be something else. It makes me wonder how much of the paranormal we have wrongly interpreted as normal and vice versa. Still on Strange Finds and Captures, this image was shared by a man who captured what appears to be a mysterious creature walking across a clearing in front of a dense forest. The creature is bipedal, covered in brown fur, and has a domed head, traits that match the classic description of Bigfoot. Once this image found its way online, it started a debate. Some thought it was the real deal, while others felt it was a man in a costume. Those who felt it was real referred to the way the entire body is built, especially the thighs. According to them, even a man in a costume couldn't feel those thighs or walk in that stride. Looking at it again, I get where they're coming from, but what do you guys think? Do they have a point, or is this just a really good costume? Now take a look at this clip and let me know if you see anything weird. You see it, don't you? In the opening clip, a woman stands at a podium delivering a speech, but if you shift your focus to the audience, you'll spot another woman seated near the front. As the speaker continues, this woman begins to subtly mimic every word, her lips perfectly syncing with the speaker's. The eerie imitation goes on for a while until she suddenly notices she's being watched. In a quick, almost instinctive motion, she raises her hand to her face, feigning a scratch on her nose, but it's her wide, unnerving gaze that truly sends a chill down the spine. Now, in another instance, during a senator's speech, a man seated in the audience also shows this strange behavior. While he doesn't move his lips, his eyes remain unnaturally wide, staring directly at the senator. He seems frozen, only blinking occasionally and with just one eye at a time. Even more unsettling is an older clip of Joe Biden giving a speech. Behind him stands a woman with the same wide-eyed fixed stare watching him intently, almost as if she's in a trance. Some believe they're alien handlers sent to monitor these leaders and ensure compliance with a dark agenda. Others suggest they might be agents tasked with guiding or even manipulating what's said and done. In fact, one viewer who watched the first clip live noticed something chilling. Whenever the woman on stage deviated from her prepared speech, the audience woman flinched slightly. So what do you think? Are these individuals truly handlers set to ensure order, or is this just a series of bizarre coincidences? Julius thinks they wrote the speeches for the politicians and are subconsciously following it, but isn't that just a bit too convenient? Or am I the only one looking for a story where there is none? Moving on, take a look at this eerie security footage. A man decided to spend the weekend alone at his cabin in the woods, seeking some peace and quiet. The security camera outside his cabin captured something deeply unsettling. As the man leans into the open trunk of his car, engrossed in whatever he's retrieving, something unusual appears in the background. Look closely at the trees nearby. You'll notice a ghostly figure moving about in the woods. The figure seems to walk almost toward the man, lingering for a moment before vanishing into thin air. Strangely enough, just as the figure appears, the man lifts his head, closes the trunk, and heads back inside, completely unaware of what just happened behind him. The man didn't see anything at the time, but later that night he heard strange, unexplainable sounds echoing through the woods. That's when he decided to review the camera footage and saw this. What do you think this figure could be? A forest spirit? Let's hear your thoughts. Here we have another intriguing piece of security footage, this time captured something unusual flying by. It appeared to be some sort of jellyfish-like object moving across the sky. What makes this especially fascinating is the way it moves. It does not have that fluid, pulsating motion typical of the jellyfish UFOs. This has made many skeptical. Some think it's nothing but CGI, while others think it's a drone delivering a package. What do you think, though? Could this be an extraterrestrial, or is this a case of mistaken identity? As the world continues to evolve, new technology emerges constantly. We see advancements in phones and other devices almost every day. But have you ever wondered what the future of computers might look like? Take a look at this fascinating concept about quantum computers.
Google just came out with that Willow chip, right? Which is a quantum computer. And they just did this test where they give it this one thing to figure out. And it would have taken our most impressive supercomputer in the world 10 septillion years to figure out this equation. That's 1 with 25 zeros behind it.
Still incomprehensible.
And it took Google's quantum computer Willow 5 minutes to figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's just these different theories of you're able to receive information from different dimensions.
Oh boy.
But supposedly the inventor of the quantum computer said that he was able to reach these different dimensions and speak to entities.
It's a mind-bending idea, but what do you think? How do you feel about the idea of quantum computers communicating through dimensions? While quantum computers are the next big thing for the world of tech, this clip might just determine what you next bring home with you.
Just these different theories of you're able to receive information from different dimensions.
Oh boy.
But supposedly the inventor of the quantum computer said that he was able to reach these different dimensions and speak to entities.
Now, this was intentionally recorded by a woman as she walked into her kitchen, and for a brief second, a camera captured what appeared to be a humanoid figure standing by the counter. It was the size of a child, but just as quickly as it appeared, it was gone. Here's the eerie backstory. The woman had recently purchased an ice maker, and ever since, she started hearing strange noises coming from the kitchen at the very spot where the ice maker is kept. Was this a coincidence? Well, maybe not. Now, it's unclear whether the ice maker was brand new or slightly used, but here's something worth considering. Haunted items often have a history, especially when they've been owned by someone else before being resold. If the spirit we saw is indeed affiliated to the ice maker, she may want to get rid of it and make sure it didn't belong to a dead person or a witch. This girl was filming a mirror video of herself in her room, but something chilling was caught in the reflection. As the camera panned, the mirror showed the open doorway behind her, and that's when it happened. A dark figure ran across the doorway. But here's the unsettling part. She was supposed to be home alone. No pets, no kids, no one else in the house. So what was that shadowy figure? The one who uploaded it states the lady in the clip is his sister and that the clip was recorded years ago. They had just seen this detail in it. It shook them, which is why they shared it. Many who saw it concluded they were shadow creatures, with a minute few stating that the sisters were probably faking it for fame. I don't know which of these to believe, but what if there was really a shadow creature in the room with her?
Well, come out so I can see you. Come out. Come on. Come out.
A family living on a tribal reserve in Alberta, Canada, had an unsettling experience one evening. They were inside their home when they began hearing strange sounds coming from outside, so they stepped onto their porch with a camera, trying to locate the source. The noise was a strange gurgling sound that seemed to echo through the trees. What made it even more chilling was the way the sound seemed to taunt them, almost as if it was calling them out to play. Despite their efforts, they couldn't see anything in the dense forest surrounding their home. The family eventually called the police hoping for answers, but even the officers upon arriving experienced the same eerie sounds with no sign of a source. On the reserve, it's common to hear stories about mysterious creatures believed to inhabit the woods, passed down through native lore. Could this have been one of those legendary beings?
Come on up. Come on. Hey, just f*** off.
A man from Tampa shared this video online and it quickly gained attention. In the footage, you can see a mysterious black sphere hovering above the water. At first, it looks like a balloon floating in the air. According to the man, he witnessed this object emerge from the water before it hovered in place over the ocean. Naturally, he assumed it was a UFO, which sparked a mix of excitement, fear, and curiosity among viewers. However, as the video spread, a particular comment caught everyone's attention. It turns out this footage has been circulating for a year now, and it's already been debunked as fake. While it's disappointing for those hoping this was evidence of something extraordinary, we can't believe everything we see of late. A man was out in the woods late one evening when he had an encounter that left him running for his life. As he walked through the dense forest, he noticed a dark figure suddenly appear behind one of the trees. It wasn't just its presence that was unsettling, it was how it vanished. The tree trunk wasn't thick enough for anything to fully hide behind, yet the figure was gone in an instant. The moment he realized what had happened, he bolted out of the woods as fast as he could. No one can say for sure what this was. Some believe it could be a forest entity, perhaps one of the mysterious creatures known as hide-behinds. According to legends, these entities lurk in wooded areas, always staying out of sight by ducking behind trees. They're said to stalk lonely hikers, luring them deeper into the woods. Now, we can't confirm if what he saw was one of these legendary beings, but what would you do if you came face to face with something like this? A man was home alone with his toddler daughter, capturing her first time standing on her own. He took out his phone to record the moment, but what he captured was something far more unsettling. As he filmed, his attention was drawn to a round ornamental mirror hanging on the wall. In the mirror's reflection, a dark figure could be seen walking past. It was brief but undeniable. Yet when he turned to check, no one else was there. He was completely alone. What makes this even stranger is that there was no shadows in the room to suggest someone was physically present. Paranormal enthusiasts often say that mirrors hold significant spiritual energy, sometimes acting as portals or windows to other realms. Could this mirror have captured an entity passing through the house, or was it something else entirely? Well, some in the paranormal community believe it's the Hat Man. But let's just hear your thoughts. A man shared a chilling and bizarre experience he had while walking through the woods one evening. On his usual shortcut home, he stumbled upon something out of the ordinary. Ahead on the path, he saw a humanoid figure glowing eerily in the darkness. The sight immediately overwhelmed him, and in that moment of awe and fear, he dropped to his knees. For what seemed like an eternity, he stayed frozen, until finally summoning enough courage to pull out his phone and start recording. The footage captures the figure bathed in an otherworldly light, its presence almost too surreal to believe. Many who have watched the video are convinced it could be an angel, considering that angels are often depicted as beings of light across various religions. But skeptics are not so sure. They suspect the footage could have been manipulated. What's your take on this? I've seen my fair share of wild, innovative scientific creations designed to make life easier for us humans, but sometimes we should draw the line somewhere. Did you know that Japan has now approved human-animal hybrid experiments? Yeah, you heard that right. The goal is to create these hybrids to harvest organs for human transplants. On the surface, it sounds like a groundbreaking step for medical science, but let's think about this for a moment. What if you hailed an Uber and your driver turned out to have a goat's head? Or what if your teacher had snake-like features? Sure, the hybrids may not look that way, but just the thought of blending human and animal DNA is enough to give anyone pause. We're teetering on the edge of a sci-fi reality, and maybe, just maybe, we've already stepped into it. If this ever becomes a thing, I know I'm becoming Spider-Man. Wait, did I just say that out loud? You know what? Let's move on to the next. Someone shared this strange sighting they came across on a hilltop. It was a glowing object sitting up there, and in front of it, a dark figure that seemed to be shifting in and out of sight. Then, things took an even stranger turn. The glowing object suddenly spread what looked like angel-like wings, and in a flash of light, it shot upwards and vanished into thin air. Now, with some are saying it could be an angel, but, well, others believe this might be an interdimensional being crossing through dimensions. The footage itself is undeniably strange and has sparked a lot of debates online. Julius, on the other hand, thinks it's fake, yeah, as usual, but it's his default stance. What do you guys think this is? Two individuals shared what they claimed to be a strange and eerie encounter while they were home alone. They were relaxing when they suddenly heard strange noises coming from the laundry room. So they crept closer, and as they peeked inside, they saw something chilling.
¿Hay alguien ahí?
No.
Hermano. Tira, vamos a ver lo que es. Hermano, no. Tira. Asoma la cámara. Espérate. Espérate lo que hay. No hay nada. ¡Hostia puta, güey!
There, staring sideways at them, was this pale face with wet, stringy hair. The boys were so terrified that they immediately bolted back into their room. But after doing some digging, it turns out this is a hoax. That particular pale face had been used repeatedly in various scary videos to stir up fear. Disappointing, I know.
Hermano. Tira, vamos a ver lo que es. Hermano, no. Espera. Tira. Asoma la cámara. Espérate. Espérate lo que hay, espérate. Vale, no hay nada. Nada, ¡hostia puta, güey!
Have you ever heard of the Blair Street Vaults? It's located in Edinburgh, Scotland. No? Well, it's a historic site once served as a storage facility for merchants. Over time, however, circumstances changed and the port began seeking shelter within its stone walls. Eventually, the vaults became a refuge for society's outcasts, a place where people hid, lived, and sometimes engaged in questionable activities. This brings us to a photograph taken by an explorer. At first, it seems to show nothing unusual, just a glass in the deep shadows of the vault. But look closely, and you'll notice something strange. To the side, there are hazy human-like figures. When you zoom in, the outline resembles two women. Some speculate that this could be the spirit of a woman who might have met a tragic fate within these vaults. What do you think? Renting an Airbnb has become a popular option for travelers offering convenience and comfort. But not all stays are as smooth as expected. Some people report downright unsettling experiences. Take this footage for instance. A young woman rented an Airbnb and on her first night decided to check the room thoroughly to ensure everything was in order. That's when she noticed something strange under the bed. A door. She didn't open it, but she saw a small locked box. Curiosity got the better of her this time, so she searched for the key. After some effort, she found it, unlocked the box, and discovered a note inside. The note read, "Congratulations," and instructed her to take a picture of the key and send it to claim a prize. This bizarre discovery alarmed her, so she continued exploring the house. That's when things got even stranger. She found another room that was locked with a code-protected lockbox on the door, preventing her from entering. At this point, she decided she'd had enough and cut her stay short, and honestly, who could blame her? A locked box with a cryptic instruction and the restricted rooms are red flags for anyone. This house certainly had a weird vibe, but the real question is, what would you do in this situation? There's no shortage of conspiracy theories about monsters lurking in the depths of the sea. Some believe these creatures are remnants of prehistoric times, while others think they're something else entirely unknown. Now, take a look at this deep-sea footage. You can see what appears to be a massive, terrifying creature with razor-sharp teeth swimming in the darkness. Its sheer size and eerie appearance make it look like something out of a nightmare. Some say it could be a newly discovered species, while skeptics argue it might be CGI or even a clever manipulation of footage. And I agree with the latter, but what do you think? Have you ever heard of the moon-eyed people? According to legend, these small humanoid creatures were said to have pale skin, striking blue eyes, and a sensitivity to sunlight. They were called moon-eyed because they couldn't see well during the day, so they stayed hidden until nightfall. These beings were reportedly known to live in Appalachia long ago until the Native American tribe called the Cherokee drove them out. The moon-eyed people were described as aggressive, but what's interesting is how their features eerily resembled those of the infamous gray alien. Some also speculated that they might be connected to other mysterious entities like crawlers or subterranean beings. After their expulsion by the Cherokee, no one really knows what happened to them. Did they retreat underground, vanish entirely, or perhaps evolve into something else? It's a fascinating mystery, don't you agree? Someone stumbled upon a bizarre discovery on the rocks at a beach. A thick, green, gelatinous blob clinging stubbornly to the surface. Intrigued, they grab a rock and manage to pry it off. The strange part, according to them, it seemed to move on its own almost as if it were alive. So what could this mysterious substance be? A weird alien-like creature from the deep, or just a melted gummy candy that somehow found its way onto the rocks? Let the guessing game begin. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Back in 2019, a man stumbled upon a series of massive footprints while exploring southeast Indiana. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. These weren't ordinary footprints. The impressions were about 6 inches wide, 18 inches long, and 4 inches deep, as if something incredibly heavy had made them. The track spanned a stretch of the ground, with each footprint spaced a full 70 inches apart, suggesting an enormous stride. He counted around 8 prints in total, though he managed to capture only 2 in photos. Take a look at these prints. The definition is remarkable. You can see the toes in the outline as if whatever made them left behind a clear imprint of its foot. The scale of these prints doesn't align with any known animal in the area, but they closely match the reported sightings of a massive 8-foot-tall Sasquatch-like creature. And the man who found these tracks had actually spotted a Sasquatch himself in the same area not long before. What do you think? Is this compelling evidence of Bigfoot, or could there be another reason for these mysterious prints? This footage was captured by a home surveillance camera set up outside overlooking the property. In the dead of night, a mysterious figure appeared, walking across the yard. Just as quickly as it arrived, it vanished into thin air. The figure was small, almost resembling a waddling toddler, but it moved in a way that seemed strange, not quite natural. Some say it might just be a trick of the light, but skeptics believe there might be something more to this eerie sighting. What do you think this could be? Someone shared this intriguing footage they had taken of the sky. In the footage, you can see a cloud with some dark figures within it. These figures look like entities that are lined up, creating an eerie and mysterious scene. As the camera zooms in, the figures become more distinct but still remain enigmatic. They appear almost humanoid, standing in a row, their forms contrasting starkly against the lighter cloud. The sight is both fascinating and unsettling, sparking curiosity and a sense of wonder. What could these dark figures be? Are they simply shadows cast by the interplay of light and cloud formations, or is there something more to this sighting? And for our final clip, we've got an interesting one. Someone shared this with us, claiming it was a UFO coming out of a hurricane. Now, this is the first that I've heard of that, but what do you think will make a UFO go through a hurricane? Is it starting these hurricanes? Is it hiding something in them? Or is it merely camouflage? It's hard to say, plus there's no guarantee this thing is real anyway, but if it was real, what do you think would be going on here? Share your thoughts in the comments section. This next footage comes from Brooklyn, New York, and it's eerie to say the least. On top of a towering building, a dark, shadowy figure appears to be perched, watching over the city. It stayed there, motionless, for a few moments before suddenly taking off and disappearing into the night sky. This entity doesn't have a distinct shape, more like a vertical dark mass. It's unsettling to think about, as it raises questions about whether we are truly alone in this world. Could other unknown entities or creatures be sharing our space hidden just out of sight? The way it simply flew off, almost as if it had some purpose or mission, makes this even more mysterious. What could this be? A spirit? An unknown creature? Or something else entirely? I guess we will never really know. Train wheels are quite different from those on most vehicles, and there's a fascinating reason for it. To demonstrate this, a man created a miniature train track model to show how these unique wheels work. He began with a set of cylindrical wheels, which were smooth and had no taper. As he tested the model on the track, the wheels struggled to stay on course, often veering off the rails. Then he swapped out the cylindrical wheels for conical ones. This time, the model held firmly to the track, gliding smoothly without slipping off. The conical shape of train wheels is crucial because it allows them to stay balanced and centered on the tracks even at high speeds or in turns. By having a slightly tapered design, these wheels can self-correct when a train moves side to side. When a train shifts to one side, the wheel's conical profile causes the outer wheel to roll on a large diameter than the inner one, helping the train return to its central position. This remarkable engineering keeps real trains securely on their paths, demonstrating the effectiveness of this unique design. If aliens or otherworldly beings were to appear, the first thing to do would be to present them with our first line of defense, the military. But what happens if these forces have already made contact or, at worst, been infiltrated? While you think about that, watch this clip. In the clip, we see an orb coming out of a military site. It then keeps ascending from the territory, flies into the sky, and vanishes. We often associate these orbs with alien activity. So what does this mean? Is that orb truly alien? If it is, does it mean our military already made contact? According to the one who uploaded the clip, this is something that's happened repeatedly over this particular base. Once this clip and information got to the paranormal community, theories started to spring up. Some thought this was evidence that our military had been compromised. Others thought the orb might just be part of a military experiment to test out new equipment and artillery. No matter how you look at it, if this clip is legit, then we have a cause for concern. Or do we? What do you think of this whole thing? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section. This bucket of fingerlings was brought in by a fisherman. At first, he assumed what he had in the bucket were fingerlings belonging to some ordinary local fish. But as we take a better look, he realized that these guys were no regular fish. He picked up one fish into his palm, and as the fish wiggled about, two wings spread from its sides, and it leapt off his palm. When I saw this first, my thought was, flying fish. As fantastical as the name might sound, flying fish are extraordinary creatures that can make powerful, self-propelled leaps out of the water, where their long wing-like fins enable gliding for considerable distances above the water's surface. This is usually a defense mechanism to evade predators. My assumption was that these had to be fingerlings, and I was prepared to tell you that they were until Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, asked me to pay serious attention to the clip. Once I did, I realized that just because the fish flies out of the man's hands, it somehow transforms into a small bird with feathers and wings. Now that I think about it, the bird does look like a hummingbird. But how do we get from a flying fish to a hummingbird? Two things. Either this is a digital manipulation, or we've got some serious paranormal activity on our hands, literally. A man set out to ski in a clearing after a heavy snowstorm. It was the perfect setting, fresh and pristine. But as he prepared to hit the slopes, something caught his eye in the wooded area across the field. There, partially hidden behind a tree, was the silhouette of what looked like a woman. Dark and motionless, the figure's body was visible, but the face was obscured by the tree. The strange part? The figure never moved. It simply stood there, watching. Or at least that's how it felt. Unnerved, the man decided to abandon his ski plans and head back home. Could it have been a shadow, a trick of the light, or something else entirely? In an isolated, snowy landscape, seeing something like that would send chills down anyone's spine. What do you think it could be? If you've been on this channel all year, you might be familiar with some strange orange orbs we shared that have been captured around the globe. Well, they return again in this next clip. Take a look. A home security camera captured something mysterious in a backyard that bordered a wooded area. In the footage, a bright orb appeared, floating slowly from the left side of the screen to the center. It hovered there for a while, almost as if observing the area, then calmly floated back to the left and disappeared from view. What could this be? Some might say it's a bug or a dust particle reflecting light, but its movement and brightness seem unusual. Others speculate that it could be a spirit orb, a phenomenon often associated with paranormal activity. The theories are endless, but one thing's certain: no one knows for sure what we are dealing with. Do you? We have another subscriber submission to share. They sent in some intriguing footage taken up in the mountains of British Columbia. In the picture, you can see a dark, huge figure standing on the mountain slope. The figure looks massive and imposing, but it's pretty far off to say for certain what it is. The shape and size match descriptions of the legendary Bigfoot, which is often said to inhabit remote forested regions like this. However, the distance makes it difficult to be certain. The mountains of Desert Columbia are known for their dense forests and vast unexplored territories. It's the perfect setting for such a mystery. Many Bigfoot sightings have been reported in this area over the years. What do you think? Is this really him, or is it just another case of mistaken identity? Now, this is where I draw the line. Some things seem to be getting way out of hand. As you can see in the video, there appears to be a creature that looks like a dog with a fishtail and fins. What are we even looking at? How is this even possible? No, naturally it's not. It can't be possible. That leaves us with one offender: AI. These days, AI is taking things too far. It looks almost real, but it's not something that can be possible. Well, scientists can do anything these days, but still, this seems a little over the top, don't you think? The blending of species like this is something that has always been left to myths and legends, but with advancements in AI and digital manipulation, we're seeing more and more of these bizarre and impossible creatures. It's fascinating and unsettling at the same time. The realism of these AI-generated images and videos can be deceiving. It's crucial to approach such content with a critical eye and not take everything at face value. While technology can create some stunning and believable visuals, it's important to remember the boundaries of reality.
A man accidentally spilt his drink on the tiled floor, but what happened next was completely unexpected. As the liquid seeped into the cracks between the tiles, tiny, red, wiggling things began to emerge. They looked like they wanted to crawl out from beneath the tiles. Intrigued, the man took a closer look, but as soon as he stepped on the tile, the tiny creatures vanished, slithering back behind the tiles. What could they be? Is there something living beneath the floor? A man was out for a nighttime walk when he noticed something strange in the sky. It was a large group of tiny white objects hovering and moving in unison. He started filming, puzzled by what he was seeing. At first glance, it looked like a flock of birds, but he soon realized that the objects didn't behave like any birds he'd ever seen before. Instead of flapping wings or scattering randomly, these white dots moved in a tight, coordinated formation, gliding smoothly across the sky. Many viewers speculate that this could be a new kind of UFO phenomenon. Typically, when people see UFOs, they report single objects or lights in different shapes like discs, orbs, or even triangular formations. But this is a swarm of small, light-like objects moving in harmony. That's something entirely different. What do you think they could be?
Bizarre footage, and you can't blame us for it. After all, it's Halloween season. What do you see when you look at the footage? A white being moving stealthily in the dark, right? What does that remind you of? If you said rake, you're right, but you still have to wonder, what's it doing there? The one who uploaded the footage mentioned that he'd been hearing odd sounds anytime it was midnight, since he was usually in the area alone. After days of psyching himself up to expose whoever or whatever it is that had been visiting his location, which he refused to share, he found this. He had his camera rolling, ready to serve as evidence for a break-in, but he ended up with something that not even the police took him seriously after he shared. What do you think? Had experiences like that? If you have, please share them in the comments section.
Like that wasn't strange enough, someone witnessed another strange situation during a solar eclipse in October 2023. For those who haven't experienced it, a solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun, blocking all or part of the Sun's light. In the video, there appears to be 3 heavenly bodies visible. The first one is a brightest sphere in front, followed by a darker one behind it, and then another brightest sphere behind the dark one. This made the one who recorded the clip believe there was another moon rising. Someone in the original post also saw something similar and shared it. If you know anything about astronomy or our celestial bodies, you know the Earth is supposed to have just one moon. This begs the question, where from the third celestial body? Naturally, this post generated a lot of conspiracies. Some even thought this was a sign that the aliens were behind this. Some also thought that the spirit world and the physical world became connected during these eclipses. One user, however, stated it was not any of these. It's the reflection of the camera lens, he said. We didn't have our cameras out to film during the eclipse, but we know that's definitely possible. The question now is, which of these reasons is the most accurate? Share your thoughts.
Amidst the solitude of the deck, a mysterious sight unfolds. We're looking at a creature with just 3 legs and a gray body covered in strange black dots that create a unique and puzzling pattern, unlike anything we've seen in nature. Despite having only a few limbs, this creature doesn't give up easily. It keeps pushing forward, leaving the fisherman filming it completely amazed and wondering what on earth he was witnessing. All who saw it were left with questions. Is the creature from some undiscovered world? Could it be an alien visitor from beneath the waves? Or maybe it's the last of a species that's unlike anything we've ever known. Perhaps something from the deep sea made its way up higher than it was supposed to be. We don't know, but perhaps the marine experts here could help. We'll be reading the comments. Would you explore tunnels? Well, the individuals responsible for our next clip thought it would be a good idea. Watch what they found. As they delved deeper into the maze-like passages of the cave, their headlamps revealed a creature that was unlike anything they'd ever seen. This cryptid figure had a strikingly human-like quality, walking on two sturdy legs much like a human, and it even had arm-like appendages. But it was enormous and had a noticeable hunch in its posture, giving it an otherworldly appearance. Its body had rough, textured features that hinted at a thick covering of hair or fur. At least that's what we think looking at the footage. What do you think we could be dealing with here? Please share your thoughts in the comments section.
The tranquil woods can often be a haven of serenity. For the individual who sent this footage in, that tranquility took an eerie turn when he stumbled upon an unsettling sight. There you can see what looks like a little girl wearing a blue dress with pigtails running. A child running alone in the woods should be the least of your problems in this situation. As you look closer, there seems to be something off. The way she's running is inhuman, as if she is hopping. Slowing down and turning her head, the entity revealed a visage that defied the norms of humanity. The semblance of a child faded, replaced by an uncanny transformation reminiscent of an animal donning the guise of a young girl. Could that have been a shapeshifter? Share your thoughts. In this footage, a group of men stumbled upon a perplexing sight, a strange creature on a rock. It exhibited characteristics reminiscent of black goo and displayed autonomous movement. In their attempt to unravel the mystery, the men resorted to using a knife, hoping to gain insight into the nature of this peculiar substance. However, the material proved resilient, reattaching itself after being cut. The baffling behavior raises questions about the origin and composition of the substance. I mean, there's no substance on Earth that looks like or behaves like that, unless of course the symbiote from Spider-Man found its way into our dimension.
Next, we have one of the oldest yet convincing evidence of a chupacabra. Take a look. In the footage, we see a creature that looks somewhere like a dog, but without the fur typically associated with our canine friends. Its body proportions are also not exactly right. Chupas have long been described as such, and this creature fits the bill. The only thing left is to see if it sucks blood out of other animals. But do tell me, what do you think? Talking about being safe, I doubt anyone could be safe anywhere close to where the next Trailcam image I'm about to show you was captured. What do you think this creature is? If you said Dogman or Wolfman, we wouldn't have an issue with it because it literally looks like one. Wolves and wild dogs can be very dangerous because of their feral nature. To have a creature that has all those features and is yet much stronger and humanoid is a different ballgame altogether. The owner of the Trailcam that captured this states that he's been shaken and worried for his family ever since their Trailcam captured this image, and I can't blame him. I would have, however, moved from the area because hunting down this creature could prove fatal, and it's safe to assume that it knows where the humans live. If it decides to change its diet to something a bit more human, the family would certainly be in trouble since humans are in short supply where the image was captured. I gave my word not to reveal the location, but what would you have done in their situation? Share your thoughts with us.
What the fuck this?
In the hushed stillness of Appalachia, a man ventured out from the shelter of his house, drawn by a mysterious cacophony that had infiltrated the tranquil night. The ambient sounds, initially indistinct, metamorphized into an unsettling symphony of screeching and the haunting bleating of a goat.
Fuck this.
The disconcerting nature of the sounds sparked a chilling question in the man's mind. Was this an encounter with a mythical being? A skinwalker, perhaps, shrouded in the legends of the region? The elusive skinwalker said to possess the ability to assume various forms, embodying the eerie tales passed down through generations. Alternatively, a mere human element infused the night with a palpable sense of concern. Could the distressing sounds be the desperate cries of a person in trouble, echoing through the Appalachian landscape? The man, not knowing what it could be, ran back inside for safety. What would you have done in this situation? While at a camping site driveway with her daughter, a woman saw what she thought was a human on the top of a mountain. She pointed it out to her daughter, but she didn't see it, so she decided to take a short video. Back home, as they reviewed the footage, a shock wave of disbelief washed over them. There, standing tall on the mountain's peak, was none other than Bigfoot, a creature of legend believed by some, doubted by many, now caught on camera. Zooming in for a closer look, they were able to discern the creature's colossal size, distinct strides, and telltale hints of fur which left no room for doubt. Shocked at their discovery, they decided to share it with the world. What do you make of it? I'm pretty sure the title confused you, but trust me, once you see it, you'll understand. Take a look. That's a strange-looking deer, is it not? I doubt if I've seen any deer look like that. If you know anything about deer, however, which I know you do based on past experience, then you're well aware of the fact that they shed their antlers. But I doubt you've seen any like this. Those antlers look like pigtails. Anyone who was born earlier than the 2000s knows those hairstyles used to be a hit. It's a pity we don't see them anymore, but I'm glad this deer brought the style back to memory. So while some of you may be worried about the deer, I believe it's perfectly fine. Otherwise, the wildlife experts can feel free to chip in. Back in August, this video was captured by a security camera and later shared on TikTok. In the video, a man stepped out of his house with his two dogs, presumably for a playful outing. Just as the fun was about to commence, the man's attention was drawn to something approaching, and it frightened him. He hurriedly retreated into the house, and that's when a massive moose came into view. Concerned for his dog's safety, the man called them to his side, fearing that the colossal beast might pose a threat to them. The moose, however, had different plans and simply strolled into the woods. While moose are herbivores and don't consume meat, they're known for their significant size and can be quite aggressive if they feel threatened. Their antlers make them dangerous in such situations. Although this particular one appeared to have lost its antlers, it didn't make it less dangerous. The man can count himself lucky to have survived.
Sailing across the wide open sea is an adventure full of challenges and sometimes amazing moments. In this footage, some voyagers on a huge ship in the middle of the ocean come across this huge iceberg. At least, that's what the audio suggests.
We hit some ice. Oh my god! Oh my god! Whoa!
Icebergs are formidable natural formations that demand respect and careful navigation to avoid any potential mishaps. From what we heard in the background, the ships did hit the iceberg, but luckily it wasn't something that caused any harm to the people or the ship. Personally, when I look at it, I don't see an iceberg. No, it looks like some sort of sea creature, but you guys can let me know what you think of the whole thing. Perhaps it's my paranoia at it again.
diver was on a seabed underwater going about his business when this curious fella came poking its nose in his business. Now, what fish is this? It's pretty big with a huge forehead and very noticeable lips. I guess it's not predatory because it doesn't attack the diver. Julius whispered the answer into my ears, but I think this might do well as trivia. Do you know what this is? Kindly tell us in the comments section and do well to include an interesting fact about them.
Accidents are unfortunate situations that can sometimes defy explanation. However, when we examine the footage here, we can't help but wonder if there might be something more sinister at play. In this video, we witness a motor accident as is evident. The motor lies on the ground and the footage was captured by the helmet camera that continued to record even after it fell off the rider's head. What's truly unsettling is what the camera captured. Just behind the fallen motor, concealed among the bushes, a dark figure emerges. This figure appears from behind a tree and with an eerie, sinister countenance gazing directly at the camera. The figure's eerie appearance might lead one to ponder whether it's an embodiment of an evil entity, possibly even evoking thoughts of the Grim Reaper or an ominous spirit that played a role in causing the accident. A homeowner was peacefully asleep one night when he was jolted awake by peculiar noises coming from the roof. At first, he tried to dismiss the sounds, but they became too unsettling to ignore. Grabbing his phone and a flashlight, he gathered the courage to investigate. What he stumbled upon was nothing short of spine-tingling. Perched on the roof, there was a pallid head propped up, adorned with two dark, eerie eyes that fixated on the homeowner. The intruder bore no resemblance to a human, leaving everyone bewildered and pondering whether this was a paranormal creature, and if it was, what its purpose was on the roof.
Speaking of aliens, this was sent in by a subscriber. They had retrieved this from their security camera. Take a look. As the camera oversees the house, in a few seconds, there it is, and a strange object flies by. What was that? When you take a closer look, it doesn't look like any insect, but looks more like a miniature craft. Are we dealing with some tiny alien beings, or could it be a drone belonging to aliens? I know it sounds ridiculous, but we can't rule anything out at this point. Either way, do share your thoughts in the comments section. In this intriguing footage, trees are seen swaying in response to the forceful wind, a common occurrence during windy weather. A closer look at the ground reveals an unexpected phenomena. It appears as though the roots of the trees are lifting off the ground as the wind blows. How is such a sight even possible? Trees usually stay firmly in place because of their roots, which go into the ground to give them stability and support. Seeing these roots lifting off the ground goes against what we know about how trees are securely anchored. Could they be fake? Could it be that the roots aren't deep? What's your take on the whole thing?
In this recently captured footage, we witness a man rhythmically beating an empty bucket with a stick and tapping the murky water, which at first glance seems like an unusual activity. However, the reason behind this peculiar behavior becomes clear in the next few seconds. A crocodile soon emerges after the disturbance. The beast has been lured out of the water by the noise created by the man. Upon noticing the creature's emergence, the man quickly positions the bucket in front of him as the crocodile attempts to lunge for his leg. You might be wondering why the man is provoking the creature. In reality, he has summoned the crocodile not to provoke it, but to feed it. Nonetheless, this job is undeniably dangerous, with the slightest mistake potentially resulting in becoming crocodile food. In this episode, we bring back our bonus footage section. Can you guess what this beautiful creature is? It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
What creature is it, though? Can you tell its species? Do you know any interesting facts about it? If you do, please head down to the comments section and tell us. Start with bonus footage so we easily identify it. The most accurate description with the rarest fact might win a feature in our next video. All the best.
In this clip, we're introduced to a massive wolf with dark fur and distinct white patterns. The whispers of folklore echo in our minds as we lay eyes on this colossal wolf. Some say it bears a resemblance to the legendary Wahila, or as some love to call it, the saber wolf. Legends have often described the Wahila as a creature larger and more aggressive than your typical wolf. I know, scary, right? Looking at this creature's size, demeanor, and characteristics, I believe that they align with the descriptions in these myths. Yet, amidst the awe and wonder, there are some in the paranormal community who question its authenticity. I, for one, am not one because I believe I've set my eyes on the saber wolf. What about you? You might be wondering what we have here. Allow me to introduce you, my friends, to Madame Waterbug. Despite their small stature, waterbugs are expert swimmers. Their legs are adapted for paddling, allowing them to navigate through the water with surprising agility. Some species can even capture air and carry it with them, essentially creating their makeshift scuba gear, enabling them to stay submerged for extended periods. Waterbugs are skilled hunters. Their specialized front legs are designed to seize and hold onto their prey. Once captured, they use their piercing mouthparts to inject enzymes that break down the insides of their unfortunate victims, turning them into a ready-to-consume soup. So while they may be small, these waterbugs are a testament to the fact that danger comes in all sizes, and whatever you do, don't ever try to pick one up.
Clowns, you know, those once cheerful symbols of fun and the sun, have taken a pretty dark turn in recent times. Thanks to the association with serial killers and movies like It, they've gone from being funny to downright nightmarish. So picture this, a drone rider cruising their drone over a cornfield when they spot someone standing right in the middle of the corn plants. Curiosity piqued, they fly the drone closer only to find out it's a person in a clown mask. Now, here's the kicker. As soon as the clown realizes he's been spotted by the drone, he makes a run for it. Maybe it's just someone having some spooky fun in a costume, but the mere idea of a clown on the run in a cornfield is enough to send shivers down your spine, don't you think? Before you dismiss it as being scary, think of all those people who have a fear of clowns. Now, is it scary or is it not? How would you react if you saw a Bigfoot? Freak out? Run? Well, whatever you wrote, I doubt it will compare to this next footage. If you said run, you clearly haven't watched this footage. This individual casually saw Bigfoot walking around, and instead of hiding like many do when they record Bigfoot footage, she boldly stood in the open and recorded this Bigfoot, who also didn't seem to care that he was being filmed. The lady's dog is also calm, surprisingly. Typically, dogs will bark and get aggressive at the sight of Bigfoot, but this is relatively calm. This has many in the paranormal community talking. They believe it might be fake. It's either that or the woman is very composed and her dog is disciplined and well-trained. Which of these do you think is most probable? Please let us know in the comment section.
Humans have always demonstrated a remarkable ability to adapt to their surroundings, and camouflage has played a crucial role in various contexts, especially in military scenarios. In this intriguing footage, we witness the art of human camouflage in action. The clip showcases the utilization of a concealed compartment beneath the ground, allowing the individual to appear and disappear with remarkable speed. In the next clip, you can see some trees on a hill, and from the trees, a man walks out covered in leaves. From his dress, he's likely a soldier engaged in training or on the battlefield.
You'd never have guessed that he was even there. The video captures the fascinating ways in which humans harness their creativity to overcome challenges. The idyllic setting of a sunny beach took an unexpected turn as a beachgoer stumbled upon the perplexing sight of a mysterious creature's carcass. However, the remains were severely crushed, rendering the identification of the creature a challenging puzzle. In the absence of clear features, speculation runs wild. The possibility of it being the remains of a dog that met an unfortunate fate at sea emerged as a plausible explanation. As we sift through the sands of speculation, the identity of our beachside enigma remains shrouded in the mysteries of the sea. What do you think of the whole thing? As always, please do share your thoughts with us. In the next clip, we step into the world of archaeology, where something mysterious and absolutely astonishing has popped up. It's left even the smartest archaeologists scratching their heads. Here we've got the skeletal remains of a super puzzling creature, and it's throwing scientists for a loop. Now, the first thing that really stands out is this creature's back legs. They're all out of proportion, way longer than you'd expect. The whole body is about a meter long. Instead of regular hooves, it's got nails, which adds to its overall mystery. Plus, it's got some pretty gnarly teeth that makes scientists wonder about its role in the ecosystem. People have all sorts of ideas about what this might be, but none of them seem to totally fit the bill. Is it a brand new species we've never seen before? Some ancient weirdo? Or maybe a genetic quirk of a creature we know? While the archaeologists try to crack this puzzle, we're all ears for your thoughts and theories. Feel free to share them in the comments section below. We'll be reading. Next, we have a capture that was taken during a quiet night of camping, which turned, well, not so quiet. The sound started right around the time the group of campers was about to settle into their tents for the night. The curious and somewhat brave campers decided to investigate the source of this unsettling sound, which is what led to the image you see on your screen. There, beneath the cover of a tree, stands a creature with an unusual form that defies easy categorization, as it looks neither like a human nor any known animal. The campers stayed hidden in a spot as they filmed the strange creature, as they didn't know what it was doing in the woods or what it was capable of doing to them. While I would not have gone out at all, I must commend them for their bravery. Whatever you do, though, don't ever go out looking for the source of strange noises when it's dark. That's how all the side characters in a horror movie die. The thing is, you'll never know if you are the main character or not. Side characters don't survive. Stay safe out there. This one is definitely not me being paranoid. You see it too, don't you? It appears to be some huge octopus caught in a tango with the pillar. Its tentacles are moving all around the structure, which makes you wonder what exactly it's doing in such an unusual place. The mysterious situation with the octopus and its decision to interact with the pillar has led to a speculation. Some people suggest that the video might be AI generated, while others think it's the real deal.
Is a beautiful drone shot. The kind of video that you might see in a travel video, right? Except it's not real.
AI-generated content has become advanced, making it hard to tell what's real and what's created digitally. The chance of AI involvement bringing in some uncertainty, making viewers question whether the scene is genuine. What do you make of it though, AI or real? Here we have another thing to ponder about. There are ancient beliefs in various cultures about sacred trees that should not be cut down. Some believe them to be reincarnations of their ancestors, while others believe them to be gods or whatnot. In this footage, a man comes across a tree with blood-like liquid coming out of it. I know there is a scientific explanation for this, but let's play the devil's advocate for a minute. What if this tree is one of those sacred trees? Think about it.
Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a giant or a big lizard or an alien after you now, would you? This video was shared by the YouTuber Only Manpur Collection Sap. The YouTube team ventured into the forest to explore when they unexpectedly encountered an unusual woman standing behind some bushes. Not only was this woman standing there, but she was also eerily moving her head sideways to a silent tune. Her face appeared exceptionally pale, almost white. One of the more daring crew members approached the mysterious woman, raising his arms to convey that he meant no harm. However, the woman remained unperturbed and continued to hold her stance. As the man drew closer, she gradually crouched down into the bushes and disappeared. Undeterred, the crew persisted in their search of the woods and encountered another woman resembling the first. Once again, as they approached her, she too vanished. The identity of these women remains a mystery. Are they forest spirits, or could this be completely staged? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Amidst the solemn grounds of a cemetery, a woman stumbles upon something that defies explanation. I know, you were expecting me to say enigma, but I have repented. Whatever it is, it appears to have suffered a deformation process that contorted it into a truly unsettling spectacle. With its vital organs conspicuously absent and a somber and darkened visage, its crossed arms add a touch of eerie surrealism. But the mystery doesn't end there, as the discovery also brings with it an unsettling stench that pervades the lady's home. What, one may ask, could possibly result in such an otherworldly and disconcerting apparition? Well, we really don't know. What's your take on it? This next clip comes all the way from an icy mountain in the coded location. Pay attention to it. You see it, don't you? The silhouette of a person. Being able to make out the person from that distance is quite remarkable. And by that, this is what I mean. A human would have been barely visible, but this person or being stands out, which could only mean he's not normal human size, but ginormous. Is this evident of giants, or could it be the legendary Yeti? Delving deeper into the intrigue, some theorists suggest a conspiracy surrounding the existence of giants, proposing that these colossal beings may have a clandestine presence in remote regions. Speculations range from ancient myths and legends to alleged cover-ups by secretive organizations aiming to keep the existence of giants hidden from the public eye. What do you think, though? Skinwalkers are shape-shifting creatures. They can take the form of any being and live among us. However, there is a subtle detail that gives away their true nature. Take a look at this footage. For instance, someone captured this dog on the street, and it looks like your everyday dog. But a closer look and you'll notice something uncanny about its appearance. Did you see it? Yeah, many who saw the footage believed that this could be a skinwalker attempting to imitate a dog but missing the mark, particularly in the eyes. If that's true, then this woman has got to get this thing away from her. What do you think, though? When humans retire to bed, we enter a state of unconsciousness, leaving us vulnerable to whatever might transpire around us. There have, however, been instances when security cameras have captured bizarre occurrences that unfold while we sleep, and this evidence is one of many such pieces of evidence that could make you hesitant to fall asleep. In this video recorded in Indonesia, we see a car parked outside. Within a matter of seconds, an unusual greenish smoke materializes seemingly out of thin air. This airy mist then takes on the form of a person as it moves, and just as swiftly as it materializes, it vanishes into the ether. The question arises, was that a ghost or some form of wandering spirit? You tell us.
If you saw the title and you were a Harry Potter fan, then you know what to expect. If not, enjoy the surprise. Yep, that's a ginormous spider, more specifically a tarantula. From the way it looks, it's hard to say if it's alive or not, but the individual filming, who seems to not have arachnophobia, pokes it with a stick to check if it's alive. And your guess is as good as mine. It's alive. It sharply contracts its legs. Fortunately for the individual, it doesn't come out or attack. Small spiders can be fast and dangerous. Why would you play with one this size? The docile nature of the creature has led some to believe it's either dying or the whole thing is fake, aimed at garnering some views. Tell us what you think. Before you move on to the next clip, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment in the comments section. It goes a long way to help us produce more videos for you. Thank you very much for doing so, it means a lot. Moving back to the day's episode.
In the animal kingdom, it's an eat or be eaten rule among carnivores. However, when it comes to a family of animals against one predator, they never leave a home behind. In this footage, we can see a lion lunging at a hyena. The hyena tries to get away, but the king of the jungle is not ready to let a disrespectful subordinate get away, so it keeps jaws locked on the neck of the poor guy. Meanwhile, there's an audience of hyenas standing by, but keeping a safe distance for fear of their lives. However, they noticed that their friend would not survive, so they decided to help. They start to gather around the lion, clawing and biting at it. As they got more aggressive, the lion lets go of the hyena in its mouth to fight back the rest. But seeing that there were many and this was an unfair fight, it decided to give up. I have a feeling that the poor hyena won't survive for much longer. Nature is indeed brutal. But long live the king. Nature can be very unpredictable. In a captivating piece of footage, the ordinary, tranquil setting of a river becomes a stage for a mysterious spectacle. As the camera captures the scene, the riverbed beneath the water's surface rises. The water, usually a placid mirror reflecting the sky, gives way to a hidden force sculpting the riverbed into an otherworldly display. Why did the ground under the river suddenly rise? Could it be because of movements deep in the earth, like a hidden dance of rocks and forces, or is there an invisible and otherworldly being shaping the landscape as it pleases? Share your thoughts in the comment section.
In this rather unsettling footage, we find ourselves within the confines of a Romanian zoo. A curious tourist decided to venture into a restricted area and found himself peering into a grim chamber. Inside, a horrifying creature is held captive, resembling a deformed human. The creature's grotesque visage and demeanor are enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. As the tourist present becomes apparent to the creature, it abruptly locks its gaze on him, seemingly yearning to draw nearer. Fortunately, the heavy metal bars serve as a barrier, ensuring that the disturbing creature remains confined within the room. What could be the story behind this nightmarish being, and why is it being kept within the confines of a zoo? Now, we have a lot of weird-looking naked creatures on this channel, but I doubt any compare to this next capture. What do you make of this weird image? Some members of our team believe we could simply be looking at an emaciated man, but quite frankly, I think there's more to this image. While he may look thin like someone starving or ill, he definitely looks much stronger than someone in that state would look. This could only mean one thing. That's his actual physique. One striking thing about this whole thing is his weird-looking nipples, but then again, we're in breast cancer month, and perhaps this is a reminder you needed to get checked to make sure you're healthy and will stay with us for more years to come. Coming back to the image, what do you make of it? What do you think we are dealing with here? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to read them.
And
This man was staying over at his friend's house when they began to hear noises from the backyard late at night. The property they were in was close to the woods with only a wired fence separating the backyard from the forest. As he went there to check it out, thinking it could be some sort of animal, he found nothing. Still, in the middle of inspecting the place, he heard the scream again.
it was standing, we think, right in this where I'm standing right now. And my friend's inside right now. But I'm getting this footage. And did you just fucking hear that? That was fucking it.
But he was not sure what it could be, so he ran back inside the house for safety. He soon found out that he was not the only one who had heard it, and all the others who had heard it had different explanations for them. Some said it was a mountain lion, others said it was a fox, while the paranormal community believed it was a skinwalker. Personally, I believe it could be any of these, and I also think it being a skinwalker would be a cool touch, but that might just be me avoiding the facts and stepping into my world of fantasy. What do you personally think of the mysterious Night Symphony?
And
Asian hornets, scientifically known as Vespa velutina, are a species of hornets native to Southeast Asia. They're quite troublesome in the ecosystem, and there are times when there is a need to take action against them. In this footage, we can see a man in protective gear baiting the hornets with meat. These creatures are carnivores. They feed on bees and other insects and may also consume other sources of protein when available, as you can see in the footage. One of the men ties a white plastic bag on a hornet and leaves it to fly to its hive. Then they track it by following it. The white plastic makes it easy to track. When the man gets there, they dig out the hive and collect all the workers into a container, then go ahead to destroy their eggs, larvae, and queen. This is done to manage the population of invasive Asian hornets, which pose threats to local ecosystems and honeybee colonies. Scary, huh? Do you know anything about the Loch Ness Monster? Well, take a look. What does that remind you of? Anyone who knows anything about good old Nessie knows that this creature in the sea is definitely gonna make people think it's the Loch Ness Monster. For those who don't know about it, it's a creature from Scottish folklore and legend. It's said to inhabit Loch Ness, a large and deep lake in the Scottish Highlands. The Loch Ness Monster is typically described as a large, long-necked, serpentine or dinosaur-like creature that dwells in the depths of the loch, which is the Scottish term for a lake. The Scots. Am I right? We don't have much to go on since we can't see its full form, yet what we see is enough to make some believe it is truly Nessie. But do you think that's an actual Nessie, or do you think it's something entirely different? Unlike humans, animals are known to be more sensitive and aware of their surroundings, easily detecting signs of impending danger or sensing and detecting any intruders out of sight. This is precisely what happened to a horse rider who ventured into the woods with his horse. As they meandered through the woodlands, the horse suddenly came to an abrupt halt, refusing to move any further. The rider couldn't initially discern the reason for the horse's reluctance. It didn't take long, however, for him to spot movement in the bushes. Upon closer examination, he discovered a strange, otherworldly creature concealed behind a tree. This creature possessed a pallid visage with immense dark eyes, bearing an uncanny resemblance to a skeletal figure. The creature was peering at the rider and his horse, which probably explains why the horse stopped in its tracks. Now the question is, what was that creature? In this interesting water meeting, there's a mysterious black creature that looks like a snail without a shell. Many who saw it proposed that it might be a sea slug or a similar sea creature. Sea slugs, scientifically called nudibranches, are a varied group of shellless sea snails. Normally they live in salt water, so finding them in freshwater or swampy places is unusual. Is it possible that this is a species we haven't discovered yet, or does it possess characteristics that make us rethink what we know about marine life? Nature is a constant source of awe and sometimes even a bit of fear. In this footage, massive rocks from the seashore mysteriously start moving toward the land, overtaking the rails and encroaching onto the street. Mind you, this is not an edited footage. Just look at how the people around are mesmerized by it and are keenly taking videos of it. But if it's not edited, what could we be dealing with? We can't say with certainty which it is, but Julius has a few theories for us. According to him, the movement of rocks along the shoreline can be ascribed to the persistent forces of waves and tides shaping the coasts with their rhythmic movements. Another explanation could involve geological events like landslides, orchestrating the fascinating migration of these rocks and highlighting the constantly changing nature of Earth's landscapes. These are all the theories we got from him, but what do you also think? Are snakes developing legs now? These slithering creatures are already quite dangerous when they move on the ground, and the thought of them having legs is even more daunting. Well, you might not have to imagine for much longer, as a four-limbed snake was recently sighted in Vientiane. This creature bore an uncanny resemblance to both a lizard and a snake. It's worth noting that there are lizards known as skinks that resemble snakes, but this specimen was different. Unlike skinks, which are relatively small, this snake was quite long and possessed fully developed limbs. While some snakes do have small appendages that they use for mating, this was a full-grown creature with functioning limbs. The question that arises is, how is such a phenomenon possible? We have something rather unprecedented. This first clip was recorded in Colorado as recently as 8th of October by passengers on board a narrow-gauge train that caught sight of something typically not associated with the Colorado area. Take a look. From the train, you can see a humanoid moving through the area. It's big and also most definitely not human. There are not many creatures that fit the bill, which leaves me and all who saw the footage believing that we are dealing with a Bigfoot. I mean, take a second look at it. If this is indeed a Bigfoot, it might be the first for the area, because Colorado is associated with a lot of things, but Bigfoot sightings are not one of them. Although a number of us in the paranormal community believe we may be dealing with a Bigfoot, some who saw it found it funny. One user sarcastically asked if he was able to get back the rented costume in time. Now, if this is a dude in a rented costume, then that's definitely a costume you should be wearing for your next Halloween, because it's very realistic. Some also laughed at it for being shiny, but if you've seen well-kept animal fur in the sun, you would know it gets shiny. Either way, those are just my thoughts. What do you think? Is this really Bigfoot or simply a dude in a costume? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Now take a look at this creature right here. What would you do if you saw this in your house? There is no way I would sleep that night. It's a dog, clearly a dog, but there is a strangeness to its appearance that makes you feel uncomfortable. It's like a human, which is quite unusual. That is not a dog, I tell you. It's a skinwalker or something, because just look at this. Guys, am I just being paranoid, or do you see it too? If you thought that was odd, take a look at this one. As the leaves sway in the wind, this tree takes a strange shape, like it was some sort of creature. It looks more like a bear to me, which is quite the eerie spectacle. I know, it could just be my human trait to see familiar things in inanimate objects. If that's not the case and there's something more ominous happening here, then whoever lives where this is recorded needs to pay attention, don't you think? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. If you thought that was weird, clearly you haven't seen this next bit of footage. This particular one is from a father and son adventure in Georgia. Their adventure is cut short when they come across a creature that somewhat looks like a small version of the Loch Ness Monster. Despite showing this to various marine experts, no one could give the father and son duo satisfactory answers. They turned to the internet, and even then, there was no consensus, as everyone had different ideas when it comes to the identity of the creature. My team and I are also at a loss, so we throw it out to you guys as well. What do you think we're dealing with here? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Do you believe in superheroes? Well, the next footage might challenge that. In this intriguing footage, a curious individual found himself wandering through a dense forest when his attention was drawn to an extraordinary sight. Amongst the underbrush, a tiny creature emerged. This diminutive being had an odd greenish hue and a head that bore a striking resemblance to a fractured tree, with its spindly arms and legs adding to its curious appearance. If you look closely and imaginatively, you'll realize it appears to be adorned with a small cape. Cool, huh? One might be reminded of Groot, the beloved character from the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. However, what sets this apart is the very real and unaltered nature of the footage. The presence of this peculiar creature raises numerous questions. What is that creature? Why is it there? And is it dangerous? If any of you can help with the answers, we'd love to hear them.
The mysterious behavior of clouds in the sky as captured in this footage adds another layer of intrigue to the unexplainable phenomena we often encounter. Unlike typical cloud formations, this patch of clouds exhibits unusual movement and shape-shifting, deviating from the norm typically associated with clouds. In trying to understand this phenomenon, one might consider various factors such as atmospheric conditions, wind patterns, or even the possibility of an unconventional cloud formation. However, without more context or scientific analysis, we're left to our imaginations and speculation. Do you have any explanation? Share it with us in the comment section. Before we move on in the next video, just another reminder, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now. I wouldn't want to send a Bigfoot after you. And don't forget to share with your friends and family as well. Thank you very much. Next, let's take a look at what I like to consider one of nature's show-offs. In broad daylight, this strange thing happened. There was water pouring from the sky at just a small part of the street, and when pedestrians looked up to check who or what could have been pouring the water at that specific spot, they realized it was from the sky. It was just rain. This was an interesting occurrence by all standards. Sometimes during a rain shower, clouds might be unevenly spread, causing rain to fall in one area while leaving another dry. This can happen because of the way clouds form and move, leading to localized rain in certain spots, even in broad daylight. While what I just described is an occurrence we have seen several times, this particular one is just new and quite frankly, a bit scary. Do you think the footage is real, or could there be some digital manipulation ongoing? Share your thoughts in the comment section as always.
In a deep, mysterious forest, a TikToker on an adventure hears a strange, scary noise that breaks the peace and makes him nervous.
And there's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh?
Heard the cries, right? He stands still trying to process everything and wonders what creature could have made that sound. Perhaps it's the shock that keeps him in place, because many would have run away. I am part of that many. After uploading it online, some speculate it may be a Bigfoot, while others think we may be dealing with a skinwalker. Despite the speculations, no one can say with certainty what we are dealing with. How about you? What do you think?
There's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh?
If you still haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do it now? Thank you very much. It means a lot to us and allows us to create more content like this. Moving on in the next clip. Do you enjoy safari rides? If you're planning to go on one, this next clip will teach you why you should make sure you move with credible institution and also listen to everything they tell you.
Oh my god, he's up. Oh my god, he's gonna jump on us.
This group on a safari ride suddenly encountered a tigress. This magnificent but potentially dangerous feline was cautiously observing its human intruders. Normally, one would take this as a sign to leave the area, but these individuals continued to take pictures of the animal. Typical tourist behavior. Moments later, the tiger became visibly agitated and started moving directly toward them. Recognizing the impending danger, the tourists began to retreat, but the tigress hadn't even begun giving them a piece of her mind. She accelerated and went after them. I know animals bluff this way, but could the wildlife experts confirm if this was a bluff or something else? Either way, the individuals fled the scene, which was the most logical thing to do. My question is, what would you have done in a situation like this?
An orb from the sky begins to descend toward the direction of the raccoon. When you look carefully, you'll notice that even the raccoon stops to look at the orb before scurrying into the darkness. What could this luminous orb signify? Was it a mere firefly flickering in the night, an unidentified flying object weaving through the cosmic expanse, or perhaps something beyond the grasp of our understanding? Imagine getting a foot massage from a masseuse named Nibbles. Well, now imagine this masseuse also being a gator that can easily bite your toes off or at least take a chunk out of your foot. That's the exact situation with this man and his bizarre choice for a masseuse. Am I the only one who finds the whole thing crazy, or do you guys think it's cool? Whatever you guys think, I believe this man is one of the luckiest ones alive to be playing with a very dangerous animal and getting away with it. Whatever you do, don't ever attempt this at home. You hear me? Keep your limbs safe. Thank you. If you've made it this far, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode.
Still on chilling screams, listen to this next one.
Did you hear that? Yeah, you go first. The farm animal.
What would you do if you heard these screams and cries whilst exploring the woods at night? Well, these two were startled but decided to investigate, wondering if someone was in trouble. Funny enough, the only people I see in trouble are these two. When they decided to leave, they started to hear someone asking for help.
I don't like this. Good luck, good luck. What do you think it is? Throw a firework at it? Let's see what that is.
What does that remind you of? Skinwalkers, right? But that's not all. As they were retreating, the creature decided to show itself, and it looked like what you would expect a rake to look like. What do you make of the whole thing? Tell us in the comments section below. Next, we have footage that's the very definition of the word eerie. Take a look. The man in the clip's night was interrupted by some strange tapping noises. It's different when you hear such things and there are two or more of you in the house, and also very, very different when you are the only one at home. In this situation, the one filming was home alone. He follows the sound, which leads him to a small room. There, a mannequin strangely falls down. A mannequin, and he didn't leave? Anyone who knows anything about the paranormal knows that strange sounds and mannequins don't mix. Either way, he continues, then the glass breaks and the little girl screams. Whoa!
Hello?
If that's not a sign to leave, well, I don't know what is. This guy is either brave or very stupid. He keeps asking who's there and is met with even more strange sounds. It's at this moment he decides to be terrified and he runs. We don't get to see whatever was responsible for those strange sounds and the video ends abruptly. So our active imagination is left to decipher and decode the whole situation. Instead of throwing my opinions out there, I'm asking for yours. What do you think was happening there? In a chilling incident in the ocean, a woman's leisurely swim turned into a heart-pounding moment of danger. As she gracefully navigated the waves, the atmosphere shifted when concerned onlookers began frantically shouting warnings for her to exit the water. Caught off guard, the woman, fortunately not too far from the safety of the shore, responded promptly to the urgency in the voices around her. As she made her way to the beach, a collective gasp echoed through the bystanders. What emerged from the water was a dark shadow, unmistakably a shark, stealthily trailing her from a distance. That is why it's important to stay vigilant and respect the untamed environment of the sea, because encounters with marine life can swiftly transition from serene to potentially hazardous. Now let's have a dose of interdimensional action. This black hole appeared in the night sky. It has this white ring around it. What could it be? While pondering such events is intriguing, some people approach them with a scientific mindset, claiming that this could be just an illusion. Optical illusions, atmospheric occurrences, or celestial events can sometimes create visually stunning yet natural displays in the night sky. But this right here feels eerie and looks like a portal, some sort of gateway to another planet or dimension, or even alien transport to our world. Who knows? The UFO talk is just so prevalent these days. I won't be surprised if a saucer emerges from this black hole in the sky. I came across an interesting take from a little boy on TikTok. He was asked whether he believes in bad spirits, and his response was quite thought-provoking. Take a look.
Well, kind of. They're not really a spirit, so basically when, let's say, like, something happened, the energy of that event will create, like, its own entity. It will start going around the room, and this also happens in space, too. This can happen on any planet. This is not only for Earth, this can happen on any planet. So, when something bad happens, the energy from it will start circulating, and then it will start creating an orb, and then the orb becomes an entity, and then it starts learning from the thing. But then, since it's a low vibration, then that's basically why haunted house are haunted.
So it's energy created from
Trauma?
Yeah, trauma. Okay, so when something really bad happens, that energy creates an orb energy, which creates almost as if it's an identity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then it thinks it is.
It does?
But the energy is the only thing that's living, but it's not really living at the same time.
The bad energy, the negative spirits, are what is caused by human energy?
Yes. And not just human, like this happens on any planet. Like it's not just for humans. Humans are not the main species. They're not the main alien species.
Wow, that is such an interesting perspective.
Just remember that for every question we do. So, what would you guys want me to answer next?
Did you hear that? He explained that when something bad happens, it creates negative energy like an orb. This orb then becomes an entity that lingers around the place where the incident occurred. According to him, this is why there are haunted houses and places the bad energy from the trauma creates an entity. It's such an odd take, but when you think about it, it makes sense. The idea that negative experiences can leave behind residual energy is a concept many people find intriguing. But how did a child come up with such an insightful explanation? It's mind-blowing. What do you think about this theory? Could bad events really create lingering entities? Share your thoughts. Some Bigfoot hunters ventured into the woods one night in search of the elusive creature, but were stunned to encounter what they believed was a fairy. Take a look.
Tell you what, down in there would be cool.
That's what I'm thinking. We'd have to take one time, be careful.
Oh my gosh.
In the darkness behind the trees, a small glowing creature could be seen flying or moving. It was larger than a firefly, but still small in size. The men who were experienced Bigfoot hunters claimed to have frequently seen these glowing creatures during their expeditions and firmly believe that they're fairies. Imagine being out in the dark woods searching for one legendary creature and stumbling upon something equally mysterious. These hunters were baffled and thrilled by their findings, but not everyone shared their enthusiasm. Some think they just came across a rodent, while some say they're only seeing the things they want to see. You guys have seen the clip too. What do you think?
Hey, what? Down in there would be cool. That's what I'm thinking. We'd have to take one time, be careful.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, we need to get out of here.
Australia, the one place I told myself I'd never visit because of the ginormous and poisonous creatures it houses. Just when I thought I was putting my fears at bay, this clip shows up. In the clip, we see a snake going up the staircase in a home. I can't tell whether the snake is poisonous or not, but this is a sight I wouldn't want to see in my home. I mean, I doubt I would be able to sleep if I ever do see something like this at home. Encounters with snakes in homes are not uncommon in regions with a variety of wildlife. While Australia is home to a range of snake species, most of them are not harmful to humans. However, caution and expert assistance are crucial to ensuring the safety of both residents and the snake. The person attempts to pick up the snake from the stairs, so it seems it's not harmful. Or is it just his pet? A hiker came across this huge person standing at what looked like a doorway at the very top of the mountain. As if that wasn't scary and disturbing enough, the being just stood there and looked down at the hiker. I don't know about you, but that would have been my cue to leave, but not this hiker. He did his best to get us evidence of the whole thing. Having seen the clip, I can't help but wonder, are mountains more than just geological formations? Could there be a hidden world of giants residing in these majestic peaks, or perhaps are the interpretations of these misinterpretations of the actual facts? It's hard to say, but what are your insights on these mysterious giant encounters? Share them with us in the comments section. This footage was taken from one of the living facilities on the continent, offering a rare glimpse into daily life in such an extreme environment. As the person walks us through the facility, we approach the entryway, and you can see that the walls and door are thickly coated with snow. Now watch what happens when the woman opens the door. Instantly, we're met with the ferocity of an Antarctic condition, one severe storm.
This is the entryway to our dorm. Normally this has carpet on the ground and the walls are just normally walls, you know, but we're going to open the door right now. It's a little bit like opening up the door to another world. Are you ready?
The wind howls furiously and the air is filled with swirling snow. This type of storm is incredibly dangerous, with temperatures plunging below minus 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Exposure for even a few seconds could be fatal. The harsh reality of life in Antarctica is vividly displayed here, reminding us of the extreme conditions faced by those who live and work on this icy continent. What do you think about the living conditions in Antarctica? Could you handle such an environment? Australia never fails to surprise with its abundance of unique wildlife, and a recent video captured at Bali Point is a testament to that. In the footage, a kangaroo was spotted taking an unexpected dip in the ocean, venturing out for a swim amidst the rolling waves. This sight may have seemed out of the ordinary for those accustomed to seeing kangaroos hopping across dry landscapes. While kangaroos are not typically associated with swimming, they are known to enter water bodies to cool off or escape predators when necessary. So basically, they can swim, but that doesn't explain the behavior in this clip. That got me thinking and researching. It turns out the kangaroos can actually lure predators into water bodies and drown them if they follow them in. Sounds dark, I know, but that's Mama Nature for you. The big question now is that what this kangaroo was trying to do? When it comes to dolls, I have a bittersweet feeling about them. They are fun to have, but when I remember Annabelle and Chucky, I'm not so sure if we're safe to have them around. Here we have a man who was on a treasure hunt in the woods when his metal detector picked up something in the ground close to a tree. The curious man went ahead to dig this thing out, but what he saw was rather puzzling. It was a doll's head with strange red markings on its face that made it look like something that was used for a ritual. Despite the eerie atmosphere, this man had no issues tampering with it. As he was inspecting the doll's head, he noticed an opening in the neck that led him to a treasure of coins. I guess he did find treasure after all. Something doesn't, however, sit right with me about a doll's with a head stuffed with coins. Am I just being paranoid, or is he being too reckless? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
Some cave explorers were out in the wilderness when they stumbled upon an unmarked cave. As they were about to enter, strange noises started echoing from inside. They decided to wait and see what might emerge, and what came crawling out left them in absolute shock. It was a creature moving low to the ground, crawling on its hands. The cave was pitch dark, so only parts of it were visible, the head and arms it used to drag itself forward. The explorer managed to snap this picture in their disbelief. The creature had pitch black eyes and brown, extremely dry-looking skin. Its head was particularly large, with an elongated occiput, giving it a shape eerily similar to an octopus, though no tentacles were visible. What could this be? A cave-dwelling cryptid, or perhaps something else entirely? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.